Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Today, new rules coming for clean car emissions. Apple hits $1 trillion, and a Game of Thrones star launches her own app. Those stories and many more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Friday, August 3rd. You ready? Let's do this. We now know more about a plan to cut back on clean car emissions rules in the U.S. The Trump administration wants to make the current rules less strict. Right now, the Wall Street Journal says automakers are supposed to cut emissions enough so that new cars will average more than 50 miles a gallon by the year 2025. Well, maybe not anymore, if this new plan goes through. The new standard would mean cars would have to reach at least 37 miles a gallon instead of more than 50. The Trump administration says the current rules would just be too costly. It would cause car prices to be too expensive, which means drivers wouldn't buy them and instead would keep older, dirtier, less safe cars. But critics say no. Better efficiency saves people money and is better for their health because it means less air pollution. And it deals with the whole climate change thing. One of those critics is California's Attorney General, especially because some reports say there's a chance the federal government will want to take away California's power to have even stricter rules than the rest of the country. The Attorney General says not going to happen, and he'll be fighting this issue in court. Things have been heating up between President Trump and some media outlets, maybe even more than before. At a rally last night, the AP reports Trump called the media, quote, fake, disgusting news. But earlier at an event by news outlet Axios, the president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, said she doesn't agree with her dad's view and past comments that the press is the, quote, enemy of the people. President Trump later chimed in on that, saying his daughter is right that it's not all media, but the fake news media that is. It also got heated in the press briefing yesterday. CNN's Jim Acosta got into it with Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. He wanted her to say the press is not the enemy. She wouldn't. He walked out. The Pope is making some changes to the Catholic Church's teachings, at least about the death penalty. The Washington Post says Pope Francis is now calling the death penalty, quote, inadmissible, and the Church is rejecting it no matter what. Before, it was considered okay in rare cases. Now the Vatican says it'll work to get rid of the death penalty worldwide. But some critics are upset, saying Pope Francis is trying to change the Church's teachings just to match his own opinions. Ohio State University is dealing with another problem this week. The New York Times reports more than 100 former wrestlers at the college have come forward now to say they were molested by the team doctor years ago. His name was Dr. Richard Strauss. At least 3 of those victims have filed lawsuits against the university. One told the Times it happens to men too. The doctor killed himself back in 2005. And all of this, as just yesterday, we talked about the head football coach at Ohio State going on paid leave. That's part of an investigation into what he did or didn't know about domestic abuse accusations against a former assistant coach there. More than a dozen wildfires are still burning in California, and thousands of firefighters have been dealing with record-breaking triple-digit heat all week. The largest wildfire in and around Redding is now considered the 6th most destructive wildfire in California history. The governor said this week this may become the new normal for the state. If you want to help out some of the victims, I'll be linking to resources to do that in today's show notes. All right, some other things to know today. Apple just became the first U.S. company to hit $1 trillion in market value, as in 12 zeros. Experts told CNBC it's just proof of how powerful Apple's ecosystem has become. And it likely got there not just through iPhone sales or MacBooks, but also software and services. Think the App Store, Apple Pay, iTunes, and cloud services. The Wall Street Journal points out the top 5 most valuable companies are all in tech. Apple, Amazon, Google's parent company Alphabet, Microsoft, and Facebook. Together, they're nearly 15% of the entire S&P 500's total value. As for Google, it's growing by maybe going back to China. Google said we're out to China back in 2010 to protest censorship there. It was let users see all of the internet or nothing. Well, that's about to change now, at least according to The Intercept, which is reporting that Google is working on an Android search app that would block sensitive websites and search terms in order to go along with the rules in Beijing. Topics like human rights, democracy, religion, those are all not allowed. Some say it goes against Google's ethics for a free and open internet. Others say there's a huge void in the tech available in China. At this point, it's based on media reports. Google is not commenting. Amazon is teaming up with Comcast to offer Prime Video on cable, specifically Comcast Xfinity set-top boxes. TechCrunch says Comcast is the one embracing an enemy because Amazon Prime Video offers a lot of options, including subscriptions to channels like HBO and Showtime, and that availability is at least part of the reason a lot of people have cut cable altogether. This is not the first time Comcast has worked with streaming services, though. It offers Netflix through some platforms as well. Expect Amazon Prime access on Comcast set-top boxes to happen later this year. And by the way, streaming TV is becoming even more popular than before. A new report found the number of people streaming TV content over the internet has more than doubled over the last year. Apparently right now, you can pre-order the next Samsung Galaxy phone. That will likely be the Galaxy Note 9, but Samsung has not officially said that yet. Mashable found a website that lets you reserve the next Galaxy without actually telling you anything about it. That said, you don't have to pay up yet. It just lets you reserve a chance to get early access to the phone and actually pre-order it when it's ready. More details about what you'll actually get with the phone are expected to come out soon at an event planned for August 9th. She's known as Arya on Game of Thrones, the popular series on HBO, but now she's all about an app. Macy Williams co-founded an app that launched this week, and it's called Daisie. Business Insider reports it's meant to be a sort of social media for people in the arts and film industries. Macy says she got a lucky break, but Hollywood is usually all about who you know, and she wants to help others break into the industry with this app. And that's it for today. You are all caught up. Thank you so much for listening. And of course, if you got value out of today's episode, I would love it if you share it with someone and let them know they should be listening to The Newsworthy as well. And if you want to read more about any of the stories we talked about, just head on over to thenewsworthy.com, click episodes, and find today's date. The Newsworthy is ready for you every weekday by 4 a.m. Eastern Time. So I'll be back with more news on Monday. Have a great weekend.